It's Friday. It's November 3rd, 2023. I am in the residence. Um, I'm trying to the Netflix suggested a new series which I'm watching. Um, I'm watching in my quiet of what the others do at different agency level in a hypothetical virtual reality situation. And they have this show called Designated Survivor, and it's called The Blueprint. I found this interesting um, and disturbing in this one particular episode, in that the building itself, like in this scenario, in like a worst case scenario, but I'm looking at what's going on inside New York City right now. And when I walk out on the streets of New York City, it feels very much like this virtual reality image of like if they ever hurt the Capitol, like how would you internalize that? Um, in like an intense survivorship situation. I find it also interesting that the lead character that they designated as survivor, um, they chose a man whose name itself is represented in the American market as soured yogurt. His name is Kiefer. It's a brand of soured yogurt. Um, so I thought that that was a very interesting choice, although his father, Don, Don Sutherland, Pride and Prejudice, a movie I actually rather liked in like a Quaker way. Um, the simplicity of it and the way, um, just the way relationships used to be before Match.com and women going off to Vegas and whatever it is that humans do, which I don't do in the same mannerisms, fully documented on surveillance everywhere I went, I'm sure, by clandestine services. So I'm watching this designated survivor in this worst case scenario. I'm listening to what's going on in Washington only over the radio, like the front office version, to protect whatever goes on in the back office. Um, I know what's going on for me in New York health wise. I had a meeting with the doctor yesterday. Um, and even though I got a treatment through intravenous at one of the treatment centers, my health started like going in the wrong direction in other metabolic panels, which they're watching over. And then yesterday she said something to me about her concerns with one of the treatments that might have actually harmed a different bodily function. I don't know how to process that at the moment, um, but I'm just watching over it. Um, and she's sending me to a specialist. So I'm in touch now with the medical care team. Um, and so, uh, so I'm watching over that. When I go out, there's these different levels of biogenic interactions with whatever public is around my person, and trying to loop in security footage at the cameras within the store and the public setting, um, to alert them to what's around, because it's not only what's in front of me, but the way that it works is I noticed also that they come from behind. And all of a sudden, it's just like it just creeps up on you, and it is just like itching powder from behind, and sometimes it's in the front. So anyhow, so I try to be as exaggerated as possible for that film footage, for surveillance, for whatever is in the store, for clandestine services to work their magic in the database that they have access to keep the citizens and the the private citizens protected, like the permanent residents, um, while they have so many pieces going on. Um, and then it has also come to my attention. I had this one person come up and do a tap to pay who tax exempt himself. I don't know who gives them that level of permission. The man didn't even speak English, like as a first language. He had very little um, speaking role. Camera, I'm sure, caught that in corporate theft services. And so that's concerning that they're now using tap to pay. I had another gentleman come in. I'm concerned that they're using the electronic payment services. I see some people who are using OTC. I didn't know what that was. I had to look it up. Turns out that's only for 65 and over, but yet there are some people using it, and I don't know. Again, like faces on a Federal Reserve note in a United States of America, like I'm not sure where that line is where I'm supposed to rely on the "in God we trust" gentlemen and ladies, to pick up the whatever. Um, and so there's that. And then somebody said something to me about on the receipts, which then it came to my attention, a different line, we'll call the line item, that after I watched this designated survivor with my health that's ailing at the moment, my kidneys are not working. I mean, like they're going after vital organs. Um, so my liver is as the chemistry has changed now, and it's reporting in as like a fatty liver, all of a sudden, and my kidneys are starting to not process. There's a metabolic, something that came up on the metabolic panel that's different. So again, I'm not sure if it almost feels like being held, for me, borderline, like it feels almost like medical slavery, just to stay healthy and survive, while there's an Eric Adams in this city as mayor, who I heard on the radio today was going to Turkey and he did a whole Latin tour. I don't know what that was about. Um, then yesterday he was headed to Washington, and there was something going on with him and the FBI. So again, there's in stuff in the works. I just don't know, like, and then I see a line item on the receipt, and I'm just like, I really, other than Kathy Hochul as like the governor, I don't know what's behind, like the wind beneath Kathy Hochul's wings. I just don't know who governorship, um, and what their modus operandi is. I don't. But I do see a decrease in collections for the Expanse and the collection at Plan, and then ET, and which is Planet, and then Planning, and then something that they mention on Designated Survivors I've never thought of, called War Games, and just stuck in this quagmire, of noticing these very key crucial elements, and then not even knowing where in my own government and staff it, like, I don't see clean lines to report these frightening events. Like if they reduce sales tax, um, then and they're not collecting the correct amount of sales tax in this one particular example that I found, and then I checked multiple receipts, and then I have people coming in trying to tap and pay with a tax exempt, and I have no control over that, but I do have control over the reporting, but I don't even have clean lines of a where's my mark my words special task force mark? Like where is that in family membership and clarity and cleanliness in order to protect the integrity of the whole? Um, I'm and again, and I don't know. I, I'm I'm just so out of the loop at the moment. But it seems like I heard them say on something else, like it's like being attacked from 360 degrees. That's what it feels like, and just not knowing where that safe zone is. Um, I mean, there's white people in the area that hate other white people. I mean, there's I just I just it's I don't know where strength in numbers is at this point. I don't know what a team actually looks like. I don't know what's safe. Really, I don't. And that's not good signs of um, of a solid foundation, and that's frightening. Um, I'm going to put on this episode of the soured yogurt as designated survivor and what they put up there. Also, I noticed in this televised like theory or hypothetical or parenthetical, I don't really know what the difference is. I did hear that in the Huma of Ni, Ta, and Ri, um, yesterday, President Biden made some announcement in English about humanitarian pause. And then I'm sitting here pausing as his words of intelligence, of huma, ni, ta, ri. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know whose children these are. I don't know what king they answer to. I mean, that shouldn't even be a question from my Federal Reserve in the United States of America. There is a head of state, and he very really was crowned, and so there's not a question on my end of who that person now has been announced as. It's more, is there a fight at that level that I'm so distal from, that it's in my blind side? Um, but it very really is affecting the everyday here. Um, and then a reduce in sales tax. What repercussions? I mean, I don't want to be at the losing end of that argument. I don't know how that even is. It a computer glitch? Is it one of these government hackers? Is it a government hijacker? Like, I mean, all these things and I don't even know where to go in order to safely mention what I've noticed just at a consumer end. I mean, I didn't have a paycheck for a long time, so I had no disposable money. I wasn't buying products, but now being in a store and it doesn't come up on my queue about how much sales tax is being collected. Like I have to actively search for it on receipts. Um, and it was brought to my attention and I'm like, how is it? How is how's the state of New York going to operate and exist if this is not being collected properly from the collective and from the communal in order to pay for the services like health, security, all of the things that we need to survive? More concerns on my part. Um, but I don't know if that's part of a grander schematic that's going on. And then I look at this with this soured yogurt, and I'm thoroughly, I mean, it's, I ponder, let's just put it that way. At the moment, I'm just like, so here, this is what it looks like. It's called Designated Survivor. And then it has in the background these things, whatever this represents, in domes.
Who created this? We did, sir. United States government. November 17, 2013, Special Committee for Threat Assessment. Pentagon, classified top secret. This is the Capitol bombing. Right down to the same ordinance. They're assessing our security vulnerabilities. They were getting this out years before it even happened. Someone inside the U.S. government handed over the blueprints to Majid Nassar for the Capitol bombing. There's a traitor among us.
And so, with that in looming in the back of my head, not that it's a moving picture, it's a hypothesis. I don't know how else they use them, but I am for reference in this, where if anything like that ever was to happen, and then there's this, just Jackson at White House and whatever's going on. And then, of course, on this one, there's the Independence Hall, which, of course, also has significance for the Franklin children, or the children that grew up on Franklin. And the ancestors of those that grew up on Franklin. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.